Hi everybody. Today we're going to talk about changing colors. I want you to notice when you're making a stitch that this loop that comes out of the last stitch actually becomes the top part of the next stitch. I'm going to show you how that happens. So we've got this loop here coming out of this stitch. Now when I make another stitch, that loop, see here's that loop, okay? That loop is going to end up right on top of this stitch. So when we change colors, we want to change the color not here, but here too. So what we're going to do, I want this stitch to be in my new color, and I'm working in single crochet right now, okay? But what we're going to do is this loop is the very last part of our stitch. So I'm going to start the stitch like I normally would. Just pull up a loop. Now I've got the two loops on my hook. And for a normal single crochet, I would just yarn over and pull through these two loops. That would leave me with this loop being the same color as those. So I don't want to do that. Instead, I'm going to do that in my new color. So here is my blue. Okay, so now I'm just going to yarn over with the blue and pull that through these two loops, and then I need to snug up my tails a little bit. And you want to leave enough of a tail to sew it in later. But I'm going to snug up my tails a little bit, and now you see that the loop coming out of this stitch is the new color. So when we finish the next stitch, and I always like to work over my tails for one stitch just to kind of secure them. So we're going to do the next stitch over those tails just like that. And you notice that this next stitch now has the blue color on top and on the bottom. So you get a nice kind of seamless transition between the old color and the new color. So I'm going to finish this row in single crochet, and I'll weave those tails in some other time, but I'm going to finish this row in single crochet. 4, and then into the top of this stitch, which got a little twisted. There we go. So that's the end of this row. Now let's try it in double crochet. And again, the idea is the same. You're going to work the new color through the last part of the last stitch that you want in the previous color. That sounded confusing. Let's do it and you'll see. Okay, so I'm going to chain 3. That's to start my double crochet row, and I'm going to turn around and I'm just going to double crochet like I normally would up to this stitch, because this is where I want to change the color. So I've got a couple stitches here, and now I'm at the stitch where I want to change the color. Now I'm on the wrong side, and I'm going to go ahead and just carry the color up because this is just a swatch. So it's not going to look particularly neat on this side, but when we turn it over, it'll look good. So I'm going to start my double crochet like I normally would, and when I get to this point, now there's 2 loops left on the hook, I'm going to bring up this other color, and I want this to be on the wrong side. So I'm going to bring up this other color, and I'm going to pull it through those last 2 loops. Again, this puts the new color at the top of the stitch. So now when I do my next double crochet, I'm actually going to finish this row, and then I'll flip it around so you can see it. Whoops. Split the yarn a bit there. Okay, let's finish this row of double crochets. Okay, now when I turn my piece around, you can see I've got, again, that nice seamless kind of color join. And this little line here, that's from carrying the color up, which I might be a little more careful about if I was doing an actual like intarsia piece, but this was just to show you the top of the stitch. It works for any stitch. If you're doing treble crochet, double treble crochet, however many crochets you're doing, just get to the last part of the stitch where there's only 2 loops left and pull your new color through those 2 loops. And that's the way I change colors.